Hi students, this is our lesson on thinking and language. We're going to focus primarily in this lesson on thinking and the processes behind thinking. So let's go. All right, as always, we're going to start with the definition of thinking or what it means. Now, thinking also refers to, for psychology, cognition. Cognition is thinking. Thinking is cognition. What is thinking? If you said cognition, I'm with you. Cognition is not just thinking, though. Cognition also includes the mental activities and processes associated with thinking, knowing, remembering, and communicating information. And so that encompasses a whole bunch of stuff. Knowing, learning, memory, communicating, language, being able to speak to somebody. So cognition is all our mental processes associated with thoughts, perceptions. It is based on prior knowledge. It is based on experiences. Cognition is based on things that you know, and it is organized into concepts by our brain. Now, a concept is your label or mental grouping of similar events, ideas, and people. So, for example, think of a chair. Since you have had a whole lot of experience with chairs, you can probably think of many different types of chairs. So your concept of a chair is not limited to the one that I'm sitting in right now or the one that you're sitting in. Concept of a chair can include lots of different types of chairs because we've had experience with this. So cognition can also be based on our prior experiences and knowledge. So somebody from a different culture who doesn't sit in a chair frequently, there are some cultures that don't, might not have as many ideas for a chair. So do this for me. Think of a bird. Take a moment, make a mental image of a bird in your head. Does it look like this? Probably not. The reason why is because a penguin is not our typical prototype for a bird. Now, what is a prototype? Did your bird look like this? It's more likely that it looked like a robin because you see more robins in your lifetime. The ones that we look at more frequently are our little mental shortcuts. They are the typical member of a category, one with the most defining features of that category. So for the category of bird, we're going to think of ones that take flight, ones that we see in the sky, ones that are often we're surrounded by, that come to mind very quickly. Usually we're not going to think of penguins because they don't fly. I didn't think of a chicken, but I don't see chickens very frequently. You might have chickens, I don't know. But I'm going to think of ones that I see in my backyard, my pigeons, sometimes I get cool cardinals and stuff like that. I do keep a bird feeder. When you think of a weapon, is gun at the top of your list? That would be your typical prototype, your category for which you think of when you hear the word weapon. We also use thinking to solve problems. We use strategies, which are specific methods for approaching problems. Now, different ways that we can use these strategies, we might, number one, break down complex problems into smaller sub-goals. For instance, at the end of the semester, you got a big project due, or you have a big test, so you're going to study little bits and pieces along the way because you've learned that that's the best strategy. You break it up, you chunk it up. Number two, a mystery writer may work backwards from a goal, so they know the plot twist at the end and where they want the story to go, so they just have to flesh out the characters and the different twists and turns to get to the end of the book. Or number three, use previously used strategies from our past. And that is one that we use frequently because it's based on prior experience. If something has worked for us before, we're likely to repeat it. So that is a method of solving problems that we're going to investigate here. All right, it's likely that you have used an algorithm, which is a step-by-step set of procedures to solve a problem. Think of math. It's a good way to think of it. Like you have an equation, you plug in the numbers, and you get to the answer. It always gets you the correct answer, but it can be tedious and time-consuming when you know that you can put it in a computer or ask Alexa, and she's going to do it for you. An algorithm, but Alexa gets it wrong, and so does ChatGPT. So an algorithm is always going to get you the right answer, but it takes time and work. You may also solve a problem by using a heuristic. And before we do that, let's look at the letters below. Find a word using the 10 letters below. Using an algorithm, you're going to put together each and every letter. It would be a very slow and tedious process, and it's going to lead you to 907,200 different combinations. That's long and tedious. and very time consuming. Rather, we could use a heuristic. Now, a heuristic is going to get us to the correct answer, but it's not going to get us to all of them probably. A heuristic is a mental shortcut. It is a strategy that allows us to make judgments and solve problems more efficiently. It's faster, but it's prone to error. Now, in real life, I can tell you about a heuristic. Like, heuristics are based on experience, right? We've done them before. So if I go to the grocery store and I know that I need a gallon of milk, I'm going to go straight to the dairy department, right? I don't need to go to the produce. I don't need to go through the chips and the sodas. I'm looking for a gallon of milk. So I just take my shortcut to the dairy section. Well, what if they rearrange the store? It's prone to error. I make that shortcut, but I might get head off at the pass. So heuristics can sometimes be mistakes. We can make mistakes with heuristics. This is especially true when we put together like stereotypes, when we put together what we know about a significant or group of people and we make prejudgments about them. That is an availability heuristic. I have what is available to me and I put that into something meaningful for me. They are prone to error because stereotypes are not always true. Now, another example for your heuristics. Some students follow the heuristics by preparing for a test and ignoring the assigned textbook readings and only study the lecture notes. And that's a gamble. I mean, it could be a shortcut. It could work. It could not. I guess you just don't find out until you take the exam. Another way that we solve problems is a little bit more fun, and those are moments of insight. You see the light bulb above Bert Block's head. He has had a sudden awareness solution to a problem, which moments of insight can appear at any time. I get moments of insight like when I'm in the shower, when my mind is fresh. I don't know why, but I do. And we continue to work on a solution subconsciously. Your brain is very powerful. When you go to sleep, your brain does not stop working. It can continue to work on a problem. And when you wake up, you might, oh yeah, I remember. Or I have the solution to this problem. Moments of insight are intriguing and pretty cool. All right, that summarizes thinking for now. Remember that thinking is cognition. Cognition is thinking. Thinking can encompass many things. It is our concepts, our prototypes. It includes algorithms, heuristics, the ways that we solve problems. We also solve problems by having moments of insight. Try not to use availability heuristics when you're meeting new people. Keep your mind open to the possibility that they may be different from what you might assume. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next lesson.